Hi guys, today we're going to be working in the vegetable garden. We've got a little bit more work to do as far as swapping our summer crops for fall crops. I've got one 3x6 raised bed left. This is our pepper bed. I've got jalapenos and an Armageddon pepper plant in here. And the Armageddon is pretty loaded up with green peppers, and the jalapenos, they're trying to pump out more, but our temperatures are not conducive to get these to fully ripen. Last night, we had a frost warning. We got down to 30, I think it was 33 degrees. That is way too cold for these plants. And I looked at our 10-day forecast. We're in the upper 50s to low 60s during the day, which that's quite a significant drop from last week when we were getting up to like almost 70 degrees, which that would have been fine for these if we stayed in like the 50s at night. But because we're dropping down into really colder temperatures, they're not going to really do much as far as ripening on here. They are setting flowers. The jalapenos do have blooms. And I did read somewhere, if you wanted to, you could cut the stems off that are holding all of the peppers on there and just kind of bunch them all together, hang them upside down inside in indirect light and give them a few days to maybe a couple of weeks, and they could potentially ripen. So I am going to go in here and selectively prune off the branches that have a lot of the peppers, and I'll take them inside later and just kind of get them all situated somewhere, probably in the basement or something, and just kind of run a little experiment and see if that actually works. Because if you take a quick close-up look here, there is a ton of peppers. And I know I've shown you guys this plant before, but I mean, just on this one stem here, there's got to be at least like 8 or 10. And then this branch over here has got at least like another dozen or so. And that's just one side of it. We still have all these branches over here. And you can see that some of the peppers are starting to ripen. They're orange, but they need to get that like fire engine red. And then our jalapenos, you can see all the blooms over here. I mean, they're really trying to pump out more peppers, and they've done quite a job this year. I think I harvested over 350 jalapeno peppers. But you can see they got little peppers on here, but the weather's just not warm enough to actually get these to full size and then ripen them. So while they are a little tiny, I'm still gonna just selectively prune the jalapenos as well. Because if we go look inside here, you can see they're starting to drop all of their leaves. So it's definitely time to clear this bed out. But look at the trunk on the Armageddon. It's like a tree. Oh, there goes another leaf. So yeah, just by touching them, the leaves kind of just start falling. So yeah, it's definitely time to clear this out. And I would also like to come back along our chain link fence and pull the last of our pole beans, because they got nipped in the frost last night. Plus the fact, I don't know if something kind of grabbed a hold of these and like pulled them down, but I'm looking at these and I'm like, did I harvest up here, or did a deer come in and like pull the plant down and just start munching on the tops of these? But I think the plants just kind of collapsed, because if I bring it back up to where it was, it doesn't really look like it got nibbled on. But when you squish it back down here, it looks like something got to it. But you know, all of these beans on here, I don't think they're salvageable. I do have these that we have been drying down so we can collect the seeds from. So I'm going to go in and harvest all of these first, and then just kind of pull all of the pole beans out and plant some, what did I plant? Some sugar snap peas. I may have to replant some sugar snap peas because it doesn't look like anything happened here. Oh wait, look. They're starting. Anyways, I know we've been spending a lot of time in the vegetable garden, but this year I've been taking it at a much slower pace and not trying to do everything in one day. I think it was last year I cleaned out this entire vegetable garden and replanted our fall crops all in one day. And while that is a little bit satisfying, it's a little bit exhausting too. There's a lot of physical labor in doing that because you have to pull everything out. And those tomato plants, like I've said before, there's a lot of foliage on there and we have to break it all down and get it all packaged up and ready to go. So it's just, sometimes it's nice to kind of take it little by little. And that was my approach this year. I decided I'm just gonna do a little bit here, a little bit there, take my time and not overtax myself. And it feels really good. So this is like the last leg of changing over the vegetable garden. We have one raised bed, the pole beans on along the chain link fence, and then we can top up the bed with some compost, fertilizer, and we're going to be planting some more fall crops. I've got some carrots, celery. We have a couple of lettuce starts left over from when we started them earlier that I'm going to throw in there. And I think I have one leftover cabbage. So this bed is going to be kind of like a little mixed bag of stuff, you know, whatever we have on hand to finish up and kind of clear out our inventory. That's what we're going to be planting today. So I'm going to jump right into this and get all of these peppers cleared out, get the bed fully recharged, get some compost and fertilizer in there, get everything all mixed up and ready to plant. And then when we're ready to plant, I'll stop and show you what we're going to be planting, and then we'll jump right into that as well. All right, guys, here we go. Look at the root ball of the Armageddon pepper. All right, guys, I want to stop here and give you a quick update. We've got all the pepper plants pulled. I added 4 bags of the land and sea compost, got that all mixed in, then added some garden tone fertilizer, got that all mixed in. And I wanted to mix the compost in first because I just wanted the fertilizer to get down to like the first 3 or 4 inches. And then as we water it, the fertilizer will make its way further down. So we are ready to plant. Before we do, I want to show you the stems of the pepper plants that I harvested. So I cut a few branches of the Armageddons and the jalapenos, and I'm just going to tie these up with some twine and hang them upside down, pretty much like this, on a curtain rod downstairs in the basement and just kind of keep an eye on them and see what they do. Again, these are the jalapenos, so they're like 2 inches, but the Armageddons are still so green. Some of them are ripe or starting to ripen. So I guess this is just going to be, I'll keep you updated. We'll see how it goes. And now this is what we're going to be planting today. I've got a couple different varieties of carrots, the Danvers carrots that we planted in the spring. And then I've got this rainbow mix, which I just thought looked really cool. So I figured, hey, let's give it a shot. And then I've got some tango celery that I want to get in the bed as well. And then we've got a huge bag of Crunchy King radishes. Now these I'm going to use as kind of like pest control for all of the beds. I'm going to sprinkle a few seeds in throughout all of our plants, kind of intermix with them, much like we did in the summertime with our zucchini. So like this bed here, we've got all of our brassicas, our cabbage and broccoli. So I'm going to come in and just rough up the soil a little bit and scatter some radish seeds throughout. That way they can grow. And again, the radish greens are what I'm going for here, because the radish greens mask the smell of the cabbage and the broccoli, so it kind of keeps the pests away. And I'm going to do it to this bed, to our other bed, and then of course we're going to do a couple of beds over there where we have some more cauliflower and cabbage. That little radish hack, we tried that in the summer and it worked beautifully on our zucchini, squash, our melons, cucumbers. They didn't have any pest damage. And I've noticed on a couple of the cauliflower, some of the leaves have got a few holes in them, and I have seen that white cabbage moth flying around. So I'm hoping that it works just as well on our brassicas as it does on our summer crops that we planted. I've also got right over here on our kitchen stoop, I've got the last 3 lettuces that we started from seed a while ago, probably like a month and a half ago, and they're itching to get out. So I'm going to plant them in the bed as well. Again, it's just going to be kind of like a mixed bag of whatever we have on hand. So we've got a cabbage, some lettuce, carrots, celery, and then the radish greens. So yeah, should be quite a fun bed. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background, but we've got landscapers a couple doors down, and they've got the blower going because they're collecting leaves. So if you guys can hear that, that's what's going on. Anyway, so as far as planting goes, I'm just going to follow the instructions on the back of each packet. For the tango, I think we plant the tango celery. I think we plant it like 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. Carrots are the ones that are pretty finicky as far as germination. You only plant them like 1/4 inch deep, and you have to keep the soil consistently moist until you see them germinate and break through the ground and you start seeing that green foliage. Radishes are 1/2 inch to 1 inch deep. So pretty much I'm just going to get in here. I don't know how I'm going to arrange this bed yet, but you know, we'll have it in nice little sections. And then once I get everything planted, I'll come back around and show you guys where everything ended up. And here's our lone cabbage plant. You can see that it sustained a little bit of damage on the outer leaves. I have sprayed this with BT a couple times, but I think it'll be able to defend itself a little bit better once we get it out of this nursery container and into the ground and surrounded by some radish greens, kind of mask it. All right, we've gone over everything that we're gonna plant today. Our bed is fully prepped and ready to go. So all that's left is to just start planting. Okay, for the carrot seeds, look how little these are. They're very tiny. So I made 4 trenches about 1/4 inch deep, if that. I'm gonna plant 2 rows of the Danvers carrots and 2 rows of the rainbow carrots. Once we get some germination, I will come in and thin them out a little bit so they're not overcrowded. So I'm just gonna take a little bit, kind of like a pinch, and just lightly start seeding. And it's probably going a little bit heavy, but that's okay. And I left some of the root matter from our peppers in here. They can break down as well. It'll be totally fine. And I left a few of the leaves in here It'll provide a little bit of nitrogen to the soil as they break down. And again, I am going to be planting this a little bit heavy. I'm not too worried about it. We can always get some more seeds. And then all I do is just gently cover them up. Pat it down. You want to make sure that the seeds have contact with the soil. And then now, that's it. Once we get everything else planted, we'll water the whole bed in. All right, guys, this bed is planted and ready to go. Let me show you how I laid everything out real quick. So right over here on our left, we've got our 3 romaine lettuces. To the right of that, I've got 2 rows of the tango celery. Right in the center, I planted our cabbage because this does get really big as it grows. So I wanted it to have enough room to do its thing, but I also planted the celery and the carrots further away from it so it wouldn't impede and try to shade anything out. And then right over here on the right, we've got 2 rows of the rainbow mix carrots, 2 rows of the Danvers carrots. Everything has been watered in, and I decided not to plant the radishes yet because I can't rough up the soil because we just planted carrot and celery seeds. So I'm going to wait until these all germinate and put on a little bit of size. Then I'll come in and plant our radishes throughout all of the beds. We are okay because we still have netting covering everything, but I just want to kind of do it all at one time as far as planting the radishes. But for now, this bed is good to go. All right, now that our last bed is planted up, all we have left to do is to pull our pole beans and plant our sugar snap peas. And this process is pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna go in and yank all the plants. I do have some of the pole beans that have dried down to that papery outside because I am gonna be harvesting the seeds. So I'll pull those off first, then I'll yank all the plants out. And then wherever there's currently a pole bean, we're gonna put in our sugar snap peas. And again, I'm just following the instructions on the back of the seed packet. Bury them 1 inch deep, water them in, keep them moist until they germinate, and then they're good to go. All right, guys, here's what we're going to be planting. Let me show you the seeds real quick. And these require 1 inch depth. There's the seeds. They look like just dried peas. I'm just going to place 2 right here, about an inch deep. Cover them with soil and mulch. And we'll water them in. And in about 7 to 10 days, they will start to sprout just like these have. See that? Those are the ones that we planted about a week and a half ago. It looks like a blank slate right now, but all of the pole beans have been pulled and all of the sugar snap peas have been planted. So now we just have to wait for this second planting of peas to germinate, and we should hopefully see it in about 7 to 10 days. But look, we've got some germination from our previous planting. I am going to have to come in with our little plastic domes and cover these because I did notice a couple of them have been nibbled by bunnies, I think. I think there was one over here. Where is it? Right over here. I think the bunny may have nibbled on it a little. So I am going to have to cover these and protect them. But yeah, it doesn't look too super exciting right now. It just looks nice and clean. I do hope we see some production from our peas, even though we are planting beginning of November. I know it may seem a little late, but again, the weather's been kind of iffy up and down. So I think we should see something. I'm just not 100% sure how much. But I am really glad that we turned over this last 3x6 raised bed. We got it planted with a whole bunch of stuff: carrots, cabbage, celery, and lettuce. Lettuce. So we have a little salad going on over there. And we cleared out the last of our pole beans. So this whole back area, if you can see it behind me, this whole back area just looks so much lighter now. Again, in the summertime, I absolutely love it when it's just packed full and abundant. It almost looks like you just have like this little walking path through, like a little tunnel to walk through. And I do love that. But at the end of the season, it's nice to kind of just pull everything back, get rid of everything and start fresh. And it's nice and open. Oh, and this was just such a nice, fun, productive day. A little overcast right now, but it is 50, 55 degrees. So it's nice gardening weather. Absolutely love it. You work up a little bit of a sweat, but you're not like dying like at the beginning of summer, in the midst of summer here in Maryland Zone 7B. We end up with 95 degrees and 90% humidity, and that is not fun to garden in. So I really appreciate this weather. Absolutely love it. And you guys, that is it for our video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.